Hello, everyone, or good morning. It is Sunday here. At least here it's Sunday. Let me see who we got. Say hello. Radios, how are you, sir? Why is my little chat window is being a little cranky here? Come on now. There we go. All right. Okay, Radios is here. I do it myself. I'm trying to afford it. Yeah. Oof. Whenever you're ready. Hey, Mike. Howdy. Tom Cruise is here. Loved you in Risky Business. How are you? Thank you for popping in. Cecil. Good day. Good day. Give him a friendly reminder. A little smack. Hey, Barry. How are you, buddy? Jeffrey is here. Greetings. Somebody discovered the film that was in the 120 camera was 620. I developed a roll of 620 film just yesterday from the 50s, I believe. I should have put a picture on here for you to see. I got 4 images out of it. It was found film from my buddy Mike over at Pittsburgh Estate Sales. Put it my brownie Hawkeye. Oh, it was not shot. I got you. Travis, you made it finally after ghosting me last time around. I have to text Travis every now and then and remind him. Hey, Bonnie, thanks for joining. Nisi is here. Nicholas is here. Hello, sir. Thank you. Bonnie, what did you get? Let's see. Let's all see what Bonnie got. Just won an 8mm Filmo on auction for for $6. We love to not love you, Bonnie, but we love you. That's awesome. If you guys don't know, Bonnie is the queen of Sweden for deal finding. Mike, did you get my Jeffrey? Oh, did I get an email from you, Jeffrey? You know what? I'll check. I'm going to look right now because I may or may not have gotten it. I tried desperately to... I did. There it is. Oh, sorry. I don't know how I missed it. Yes, I did, and I will get with you when the stream is over. Cool, Bonnie. You were weed eating. How did they taste? That was awful. Good joke, Dad. Photos. All right, so this is going to be... By the way, I just wanted to share with you guys real quick. I found this in the box. It's Ektachrome 160 still film. You see that? And I looked at the little tape that I always put tape on all my films if they are found films. And I had no idea. I don't remember getting it, but I got it in almost 2 years ago to the day, November 17th of 21, when I got all of my Cameraman Mike film. You know, all the sound film. This was in that lot of film. It's still film, so we don't know. I don't know what's on it. But this is Cameraman Mike as well. Boom. So we're going to find out about that pretty soon because we need to. Good thing I didn't say weed whacking. You are a weed whacker. So I thought it would be kind of fun. I always like to, I always enjoy more just chatting with everybody and seeing what everyone's up to and checking out all the good deals that Bonnie finds. And so it's kind of just fun to check out what everybody's doing, but I always like to have at least some talking points because that keeps everything moving along. I thought it would be kind of fun to go through just a tip of the iceberg on some of the old films that I have, old film stocks or old and new modern film stocks, and just sort of experiment with some of these old films. Experiment as in just talk about. Because I have, and I got to tell you guys, I can't possibly put all of the films that I have out here on this little folding tea table here, or TV table here. So I just grabbed a few that I thought might be kind of fun to talk about, and then we'll go from there. Kodak currently only sells 5 films for Super 8. I have been talking to my Kodak guy, and they are hoping to get some more going before too long. Well, they're in talks, I should say. That's all I'm going to say. We don't know. We don't know if it's ever going to happen, just like the camera didn't happen. But I'm always hopeful because some new stocks, especially I would love for a new black and white stock to come out in Super 8. Namely, some good plus X negative stock. But all I can do is hope. Let's see. I put that 620 in my Brownie Hawkeye so I can test it. Yes, good job. Did these come out of the freezer? A lot of them did, and they need to go right back in the freezer as soon as the stream is over. Whack that like button. Thank you, Jeffrey. Hey, Russell, you're only 7 minutes late. Well, technically, yeah, you are, because I had the little screen for a couple minutes. That's only 7 minutes. You're going to enjoy most of our conversation. Nisi says, just bought 20 cartridges of Tri-X 7278. Easy, Bonnie. For $80. Wow. Wow. That's a good deal. Very good deal. Any tips on ISO setting and exposure? Don't know the dates yet because I'll receive them this Wednesday. Wow, that's a good deal. What's that, $5 each? Or is that euros? €5 each? What a deal. Yeah, probably, and some of it depends on, those cartridges are going to be reversal. And if you have it processed as a reversal, you don't have to overexpose it as much as if you're going to have it processed as a negative. You guys know I process all my black and white film as a negative. So if you're using old 7278, which coincidentally has been out for many, many years, but it could be relatively new, as in the last 12, 14 years, but it could be really old, as in, early 70s. So you'll be safe by overexposing it by about 2 stops, I think. I think Radios is pretty dead on for that. Yeah, €80. That's insane. Holy cow. Yeah, I know. Less than $90. Plus X would definitely get my vote for a comeback. Yeah, I kind of nudged them and I said, can you at least consider Plus X? We'll see. I don't know. It's one of those things. Anytime anything happens on such a large scale, it takes forever, it seems like. It doesn't always make sense. Why can't sometimes there be a decision made and then it just happens? But I understand there's a lot of R&D that goes into most of this kind of stuff. Yeah, if you process it as a positive, Nisi, I don't know, you might, you're going to have to use one as a test roll. I mean, you got 20 for crying out loud. You use one as a test roll and then bracket it a little bit, shoot some under, a little less under, box speed, a little more over, and then a lot over, but write it out on a card and film it and get it processed as a positive and see what happens. You'll know how to expose it once you see your test results. That's what I would do. Picked up a Jelco 8 Zoom U8SE. Looks like everything works for $10, near mint condition. You know what, Jeffrey? I am not familiar with Jelco. I've never heard of that brand before. I'd love to see what it looks like. Do you currently own it, or is it on its way? Yeah, definitely use one for testing, Nisi. So, the funny thing is, I don't even really know where to start, but let me show you. I have this little stack right here. I just want to show you. This is what is currently available from Kodak in Super 8 format. Boom, boom, color, black and white, 50D my favorite, 200T a really good medium speed, and 500T a faster speed film. That's currently all that's available from Kodak in Super 8. No, I've never heard of Jelco either, Radios. That's interesting. Oh, pictures are in the email. Okay, my bad. Perfect. I will check that when we're done here. This is all that you can get. So yes, I don't think it's a bad thing, and I will tell you, this manager at Kodak that I was speaking to, he's very optimistic. They're in discussions with some of his team about the possibility of hopefully maybe one day bringing another stock or two into our Super 8 world here, our little world. Jelko was made by Nihon Cine Industry Company Limited in Japan in the 60s. I'm excited about seeing it. You know what? Jeffrey, give me 1 second. I gotta look. Sorry. Holy cow. Wow, you got some cool stuff. What in the world? Oh, it was an auction. Is that an auction? Or I didn't read the email. I'm looking at the pictures. Wow. Now, Christian would like some of that old vintage audio equipment there. Ooh, the Sony DV cam. And the Jelko. I'm assuming, yeah, the Jelko. Wow. That's crazy. I've never heard of that camera before. Let me see if, I don't know if this is going to work, but give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to, okay. Let me try something really quick. I don't know how many of you have heard of this camera before, but we're going to open it up and see if Jeffrey minds. Jeffrey, if I can get it on here, do you mind if I show a picture of it? Just the camera, the one that's just laying on its side. I'm gonna rotate it. All right. Sorry guys, I'm just doing this really. It'll just take a second here. I'm just saving his picture. Let's do it right on the desktop so it's easy to find. Boom. Okay. Let me go back to the program. No problem. All right, let me see if I can. I don't know if you can add this during. I've never tried this. I don't know if you can add this during a stream. Okay. It's on the desktop. Jelko. Boom. Well, let me try to resize it. Can you guys see that? You can see me back here too. That's a cool cam. So I don't. Can you guys see that? I like that. That's interesting. You'll have to let me know, Jeffrey, how it works. That would be interesting. Looks like an OEM. What's an OEM? Yeah, that is cool. Hey, Bagnome. I'm just glad we have the reversal stocks because I love projecting my film. There really is nothing like projecting film. I mean, if you guys want the right colors and the right look, who can argue that? Projecting film, I love projecting film too. Though I played with the idea of having a 60mm negative printed, but that'd be expensive. It would be expensive, but man, that would be cool. Like the MDCO, yeah, it does kind of look like the MDCO. It's very interesting. It does have that. Here it is again. It does have that sort of that MDCO flavor about it. Yeah, definitely cool looking. Camera brands that have the same look but branded under. Yeah, that happened. Bell and Howell was notorious for that, rebranding for other people. I think Beaulieu, the early Beaulieu 1008, I think, was made by Bell and Howell or something. It happened all the time. Excuse me. So here's what we're doing. So you guys understand that's what's available currently. These have to go back in the freezer when I'm done. Speaking of Ektachrome color, that's the brand new Ektachrome. And yes, it's coming back. I know people are freaking out about the, it is coming back. I have confirmed that. Coming back as in I know they were out of stock, but current, what am I doing? Oh yeah, current Ektachrome 7294. This is Super 8. Past Ektachrome 100D. This is 100D reversal and looks beautiful when you project it. This is the old 100D. Some say they like the old 100D better than the new 100D. I'm kind of thinking they're very similar. This is 7285. And this is the old Ektachrome 64T. This was also a reversal or a slide film. You guys remember this. I shot some of this in the 80s right here, or 90s. And this was a really cool film. It was a much slower speed film than this, and it's a tungsten-based film, or tungsten-balanced film, I should say. Let me delete that. I haven't shot 64T in a long time. I only have one or two. I think this might be the only roll I have. And it is an E6 process, just like these. It's not the EM26, so it succeeded that. So I'm curious to see what I can get out of that. It's a quick aside, I did project, speaking of projecting film, I did project that roll of Ektachrome 100D that I processed with HC110. Remember the black and white developer? I processed with HC110 and then ECN2, and it was very purple, very magenta. But with the, art of color correcting in post, well, it didn't look too bad. It still needed work, but I think with some tweaking, I gotta do a little bit of tweaking, but I think I can emulate E6 much cheaper somehow. I'm still working on that. Looks like that's a cool camera. Yeah, it does look like the MDCO, that's for sure. Hey, Nasser. Thank you for popping in. And there, look at this. Look at this guy jumping in the conversation. Hey, Rich. Let me move my chat window back over here. Speaking of rebrands, I thought this was kind of interesting. We all know who this company is. This is Pro 8mm. This is their, it's not really so much, well, I guess it is kind of rebranding. This is their low light, so this would be 500T, where I believe they take 35mm vision stock and they cut it down and have it perf themselves. And I guess that's could be construed as a rebrand. I had 2 rolls of this. It was beyond the dates of when I could send it to them for the free processing, but I got it so cheap. I shot one roll. I mean, I shot it a couple of years ago and I never had it processed. I was thinking about doing a video back then, but I actually never did. So I shot the roll of film, and then I was going to just send it to Pro 8 and see if they would process it anyway in honor. But after reading, it does say on the back, feature maybe user, all services included expire on 9/1 of 2018 for this particular roll, and the roll I already shot, which I think I shot it in 2021. So I didn't end up actually sending it to them, and I'm going to process it myself one of these years, maybe. I don't know. Another rebrand. We all know this, know and love. Hi, Katarina, my oldest daughter. We all know and love this right here. This is FPP, and I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if Cecil is still here, but he uses a lot of this. I've gotten a couple rolls of this. It's gone up in price a little bit since I bought this roll here, which was last year, I think. But this is their own take. They just call it BW100. It's a black and white film, 100 speed film. Presumably, I'm not sure. It's not Tri-X, because Tri-X is 200 speed. So I don't know what film they're using here. But it came out pretty good. I still have a little bit left in here for, this is 8/8, where it's 100 feet of 8/8. So if you have a Bolex H8 or something like that, this would run forever in an H8. But again, rebranded, Cine 8. And they do this with a lot of stocks. They cut it or whatever and have it perfed. I don't know. I don't know how they do it or what they use, but I'm glad they do. I only shot one regular 8 film. I'll send to you maybe. Yeah, I don't do much regular 8 processing. I'm just not, I don't like the slicing of it. I've done my own, and I've done a roll or two for people, but yeah, you might be right, Cecil. It may be Orwo. You and I talked about that before. I don't know. What I need to do is dig it out and search and see if there's any edge markings or anything. Not that it really matters. I won't be cutting any film down and remarketing it myself. While we're on the subject of Super 8, how many people know what this is? just as a reminder, this is a Super 8 cartridge. I'm still interested in H8. I'd love to have I have an H8, but it has issues. I'd love to have a good working H8 reflex. Mike says, any idea of how Cinestill removes rimjet before packaging their film? I have no idea, Mike. I don't know if they have a machine that does that, or they send it somewhere to have the rimjet removed through one of their processors. Because you can have it removed and dried in a processing machine without running it through processing chemicals. That would be my guess, where they maybe have a processing machine. I don't know. Double Super 8. No, this is not Double Super 8, and Barry is dead on. These are 200 footers. These are, back in the 70s, they started making these 200 foot loads of Super 8 film. And there were certain cameras, I have 2 or 3, that would accept 200 foot magazines. So if you've never seen or heard of these, and Barry knows what they are. This one is not open, but I think I may actually open it and show you. They're old. These are from likely from the 70s, because that's when these magazines were introduced. But these were so cool. In fact, the guy that did that movie, you guys hear me talk about it all the time, Killer. Remember that horror slasher movie that I talk about from the 80s that was shot all on Super 8? Well, they had an investor that cost them about $9,500. And he said anytime the investor would come on, they would put one of these on their camera. They shot mostly with the 50-foot carts, but this looks way more professional than, you know, just having the 50-foot cartridge. So let's open this up. I don't really care. The film is old 7242, or I think that's what it is, right? 7242. And it was a weird, funky process. I think it's E4 process, and I don't do much E4. How lucky you? Yeah, yeah. I can't process this because I can't do continuous processing. 200 feet. I can do 50 feet at a time. So look at this. This is sound. This is sound film too, by the way. Look how cool this is. You know what? If I can reach it over there. Let me see if I have one over here. I don't think that I do. I would show you. I should have brought a camera over here, but I don't have it. So basically what you would do is snap that in. I never use these, by the way. I've never had one. Well, I have them, but it's a cartridge, sound cartridge on the bottom, but it's all molded into this one-piece deal where your sound cartridge is simply used, this cartridge is simply used as your transport. That's all it is. And then everything, all your film is up here, two-sided, and it ends up here as well. I've heard of people trying to reload these, and I understand it's very difficult to get them apart without just tearing them up. So for me, it's more just nostalgia. Let me see. I don't think I can. Let me see if I can reach that camera without tearing everything up. Hold on, guys. No, that's not it. Okay, I got it. Pretty sure this is my Shannon, settle down, 200/8 XL. Love this camera. Love this camera. I've had a couple of these in my lifetime. But this one, if I'm not mistaken, can take, okay, so check this out. This is the 200/8, which I think it's an 8:1 zoom. Shannon. So we open the film compartment, and you can see it's a sound. There's the sound head right there, and underneath there's a little button up here that you depress, and I gotta look at the button. Oh, you slide it. So you slide the button over, and the whole top of the camera opens up. Look at that. It's convertible. It's a T-top. And then you put this bad boy in, and you put it in. You've got to do it just the same way you do carts, regular carts. So you want to put the front in first. Now I'm trying to do this so you guys can see it. And then you close the door, Looky here. Now we're filming. How cool is that? I also have a Niso 50, or I don't know the model number, but it takes this as well. Isn't that cool? 200 feet of film. So at 18 frames per second, now you're not talking 3.5 minutes. Now you're talking 14 minutes-ish. 13 to 14 minutes. So there it is, kids. There were, like I say, there were several cameras that could take this. There may have been an Elmo, I believe, that could take the 200-foot magazines. But you, as you can imagine, like the guy that shot that movie, when an investor comes on set and sees this in the 80s, as opposed to just the camera with a little 50-foot cartridge in it, could make an impression. All right, let's see what's going on here. There was someone here in Sweden trying to sell a 16mm perforation machine for 10,000 Swedish crowns, or about $1,000. You know what, Bonnie? That does not sound like a bad deal at all. I wonder if it works. There's a guy on I think his name is Victor on YouTube, and he does all kinds of, he's in the Ukraine, does all kinds of crazy stuff. He has a really cool tabletop developing machine that I would love to get my hands on, and he has a perforator that he built that perforates film. It's insane, all the stuff that he does. The thing I'm still trying to get, if I'm at, yeah, I know, swap meet I'm going to on the 23rd. I love swap meets. Hey Christian, I remember using this with my Boo 6008S. Worked fine. Yeah, did it? I would have loved to use these. I never did. I knew they existed when I was shooting Super 8, but I never. They were a little more expensive. I just never ever got into it. Okay, same price I got with my SX70 for 25. That's a good deal. Looks like someone could 3D print that. They probably could. The problem is the film. Getting the film. I guess you could order it in bulk. You know, maybe. I don't know, but it really is just more of a nostalgic, cool, you know, I mean, it's just neat looking. I just don't see that every day. And the Minolta, yes. With Super 8 cameras, accommodate those. There are several, Mike. Obviously this one. There are a couple of Nisos that will take them. Hope they got that Wolfensack 8mm. Yeah. Is there an external mag for the Bolio cameras? I think it's side by side. You mean one that goes to the... I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen one unless it's this. Unless it's these, Christian. No, the 1014 XLS does not allow for this radios. I know, Russell. These would be so cool if they did this now. It would be pretty awesome. Yeah, it is cool, huh, Nisi? That was nice. 11 minutes at 24. Yeah, you could get 11. It's like shooting a 400-foot roll of 16mm. Does the Bauer camera have one? They might, but I don't know. I had the S715XL S, and I don't think it did, which was their top of the line, that little microcomputer one they called. Had the Ingenue zoom 6 to 90, I think it was. I missed that camera, but I don't think it had the provision for the 200-foot mag. Yeah, that would be nice radios. Hey Ramiro, thank you for stopping in. Nisi says, why don't you shoot this and develop in a bucket? You know, I could, I guess, but I think deep down I'm holding out, Nisi, for the possibility that I am able to one day develop a processing machine. And if I can do that, then I'll be glad that I have this. Okay, hey Mike, that's the cartridge I mentioned a couple of weeks. Yes, Ramiro, it is. And these are so cool. I have one. I just opened this on this stream. I don't know if you were here. Right here, mag striped. And I only did that because I do have another sealed. This one was open when I got it. The bag wasn't. It was sealed in here, but this other one here is actually sealed, so I'm leaving that one sealed for now. I was not sure if that cartridge would be sold preloaded or... I wish you could reload them. The Nito models that use them are the 6056 and 6080. Yeah, I think there's a 4056, I think, is the camera I have. Not coax. It looks like the 16mm external mag, but it's for Super 8. I would like to see that, Christian. I'm not familiar with it. For Beaulieu, huh? There's Mr. Butch Magnum. You mentioned swap meet. My daughter is off to the Rose Bowl swap meet this morning, and I instructed her to FaceTime me with any cool movie stuff. If there's any found film, I will let you know. Thank you very kindly, sir. It'd be great if someone could 3D print those cartridges. I guess there would be a market for them. My only concern would be getting the film to fill them. 2 rolls of Super 8 Tri-X for $80, still sealed, about 1 year old. I don't know, Bonnie. Maybe. I mean, they're $30 here a piece. $31.99 if you order direct from Kodak. That might be a little overpay. Barry, I'd chip in on a developing machine just to see what one looks like. Yeah. You know, I emailed that fella. This machine is gorgeous. It's a guy named Victor. I don't know him personally. I emailed him about 3 years ago or 2 years ago, something like that. And it was right in the heat of the conflict with Ukraine and Russia, and I never expected him to answer, to be honest with you, and he never did. And he just reposted on YouTube recently an update to his processing machine, and he had mentioned a couple of times in the comments, here's my email if you're interested. Like I say, I emailed back then and never got a response, so I'm not sure if he's just overloaded or something, or he's not getting my emails. Somebody said something about Oppenheimer. Somebody just see it? I haven't seen it, but I would like to. Oh, Christian, Bonnie says, okay, Oppenheimer on digital, look kind of like a 35mm print, softish, flicker, definitely not 70. When I saw film stock as the topic, I counted my 16mm stock, not 8 or Super 8. What do you got? Yeah, Victor's stuff is really cool, Mike. Really wild, some of the stuff that he does. Alright, so we're going to put this away. I'm going to take this out. You guys see the little light seal that I made for this camera? It's foam, and I just cut out. You know, these light seals go bad in the little window there, so I just cut it out and kind of pushed it on there, snap it in. It kind of covers the whole cartridge. So let's see if we can get this out without too much damage. There we go. Ta-da! And then we're going to box it up and put it away. Put it away till the next time I take it out. Alright, moving on. Close the top, close the side, and we're done. By the way, if you weren't here, Cameraman Mike sound film box set. I forgot this was in one of the just thought I'd show it again. It's a 36 exposure roll of Ektachrome 160 slide film. See that? But this came a couple years ago with the Cameraman Mike stuff, so it'll be interesting to see what's on that. Interesting little films here. You know, Kodak not the only company that made film. You also had this guy right here, Fuji, right? And I have some more Fuji stock, some 400-foot rolls in 16. This is a 100-foot roll. They made all kinds of cool stocks. They still make some film. This is really old single 8, which is the same basic premise of Super 8, except it's a lot thinner. The base is much thinner on this on single 8 than is Super 8. I do have a Fuji single 8 camera. I've experimented with this stock and it just didn't come out for me, so I kind of quit. It's really old though. I mean, that expired, processed before March of '75. It's been in my freezer for 4 years, I think, 3-4 years. And this is F250D. Fuji make gorgeous stocks, by the way. Travis, I know, has shot a lot of this Fuji stuff. Here's an interesting little film. I don't know if you guys remember, but I think this is the roll, or a roll, that I shot. I got this a long time ago. This is Ansco High Pan Reversal. It's a black and white film. And I'm holding it because I don't want it to open. It's a 50 ISO black and white film. You guys remember Ansco? I think it was an AGFA company. I'm not familiar. I am familiar. Yeah, Mike, his videos are so cool. I'm happy I have more hours at work. Woohoo! Aren't all of the Christopher Nolan films shot on 65 then printed to 70? That's a good question. I'm not sure. So Oppenheimer on both 5/70 millimeter and IMAX 15/70 millimeter was really impressive, and it was my first IMAX 70 millimeter movie. It was not a documentary. First IMAX movie I ever saw, I was at the Daytona International Speedway, and I went into Daytona, USA. It was really relatively new, and they had this huge, they have a big IMAX experience in there, and I sat and it just blew me away. Unbelievable IMAX. What's your advice on buying Canon Scopic, please? I do not, or nor have I ever owned a Canon Scopic. I don't have one now. I'm not particularly a fan of them. And before everybody bites me or throws, things at me, I just don't like the way they look. I know that's cheesy, but I think they look funky. They just don't seem, I don't know. I think they probably do really well optically. Just not my favorite looking cameras. Travis has one there, the Celluloid Alchemist. I've never had one. I've just never been that interested in them, Nasser. Sorry. Beyond IMAX was amazing. I bet it was. At last count, I have about 8,000 feet of 16 millimeter color and black and white. 600 to 800 is fresh, less than 10 years old. The rest ranges in age from early 70s. Wow, that's a lot of film. I don't want to embarrass myself and tell you how much I have. That's a lot of film, Mike. Wild how Boyu 60mm cameras cost less than their Super 8 cams, yet they have better image quality. Yeah, I miss my R16. Now we are talking. Less than one have 6/400 reels and 60mm, and no one will process it. What? Nobody processes what? 400-foot rolls in the UK? Oh, that stinks. I always felt like there could be, if it were made out of stainless steel or aluminum, that there could be a 400-foot Lomo type tank where the film just winds on the spiral. I know in theory you would think that this spiral would be, 4 feet wide, but it wouldn't. I've done some experimenting, and I have 2 of the 100-foot tanks, and they're only about a foot wide. Is it a foot? Yeah, about a foot, about 12 inches. And the more I actually started, obviously as you go out farther, one rotation equals way more than when you're in the middle, and I don't think it was much more than about 2 feet to get 400 feet of film on a spiral. I think there's something there. I think if it was made out of metal, it might hold its rigidity, and there might be some way to get 400 feet of film into one of those tanks. Take a lot of chemicals, but could worry about that later. None is Lodachrome. Iffy chrome. Agfa, yes. Fuji I meant. Russell. I knew what you meant. Glad I got to catch this again. Hey, Dustin. Thank you for popping in. Appreciate it. version is a movie printed with no film outs. 70mm screenings are still very rare. Yes, they are. Tarantino kind of rescued these. Let's see what. Mine needs a battery and front lens element. Yeah, that's right. Yours had some issues, if I remember, Travis. Get on it. No one processes any motion picture film in Sweden. It sounds like there's a big gaping possibility there, Bonnie. Get on it. Just Fuji. They won't process. Oh, okay. I got you. Wonder why they won't process Fuji. Huh. It's the same process. That's ECN2. I tried gauge film. Okay. Tried gauge film for... Wait. Oh, is that where it's at? Wolverhampton? My brother is in that area. He's in Paris right now. Hey, Remjet! Film! We love film. I'm just going over some interesting films that I came across. Here's some, you guys all know this film. Can you read that? That might be a little too far away. Filmapan. That's double Super 8 right there. I do have a double Super 8 Pathé camera. However, and it runs great. However, it doesn't have a viewfinder. I don't know what happened. I got it that way. I knew it was not all good, but so I don't have a double Super 8 camera that I'm comfortable shooting this in yet, but I'm hanging on to it. I have 2 rolls of this. Then we have this 8mm film called Kinolux Cine Safety Film. Has anybody ever seen that? It's just a little roll of, woo, very moldy 8mm film. Kinolux. Does it have a date on it? March of 1959. Kinolux. Triandec in Berlin, Germany. They do almost everything. Planning on buying the tank I sent you yesterday and start processing for people. Already have connections to some of the camera stores. Oh, that would be awesome, Bonnie. Get on it. Flip in half and reload a cartridge. Do you mean the Super 8, Nisi? Yeah, I could probably. I have a slitter and just run it 25 feet at a time. I have a slitter and I do have several reloadable Super 8 cartridges. That's not a bad idea. I'm not 100% confident in those little Lomo slitters though. A couple other interesting little films. You guys familiar with that one? I've tried processing a couple of rolls of this Russian film stock and have not had any luck with it. A guy named Sam Hain, who's a subscriber, an actor, he sent me a nice little lot of film that he had, and he said, I think you probably have fun with this. And I've tried messing with it, and I haven't had too much luck with it yet, but I do have a couple more rolls that I'm doodling with. How about this for double A? 2 rolls of it. You guys know that film? Perutz Pekin. It looks German, based on some of the writings. Appears to be Germany, made in Germany. It's a safety film. Zvima, yes, Mike, that's exactly what this is. And I have another one too. I have several of these that are different designs, different speeds. Has anybody ever used this before? I'm not wholly familiar with it. Mike says, my Bolex H8 reflex converted to double Super 8 just needs film. Oh, don't tempt me. If you're right, they will. And you've forgotten to check them. Cinelab definitely do not. Jeffrey, I was planning to get some Super film. I think you mean Super 8 film. You hit the asterisk instead of the 8. Planning on to get some Super 8 film and double 8 film. When loading the double 8, I hear people say near dark to load and flip. How dark is near dark? You know what? You're gonna, if you're not in total darkness, Jeffrey, you're gonna expose a little bit of it. There's no way around it. It's on a daylight spool. but there isn't any way to flip the film in any kind of light at all and not expose a little bit of it. That's common knowledge. So always the head and the tail of those, just know that don't shoot anything important because there will be some flashing no matter what, unless you do it in a dark bag, which I do not recommend. Reload stuff. I have a new slitter. Good job. Very good job, Cecil. For a long time, I used this slitter until I got the little round one. But I use this, it's called a Baya slitter. And it's a little square made by Baya. You guys seen these? Here's the box. It's 2 rollers and they're offset. And as you feed the film through, it doesn't hurt the sides, the frame sides of the film, but and it cuts it right down the middle. It's very solid, very strong, and I like it, but Cecil knows what I'm talking about. If it was cutting the film, first of all, it was kind of serrating the film in the middle, so I don't know if it's just needs to be sharpened somehow or what, but sometimes it will cut into the frame of one side or the other, and I don't like that. So it's not a true 8mm on one side and 8mm on the other side. The one I currently have, the little round one, it's up there somewhere, it does much better. Comrade Kodowski. Kodaksky. There's Barry. In Soviet Russia, film shoot you. Wait, in Soviet Russia, film shoot you. I don't know what that means, but it's funny. Would you recommend getting a 70HR and a 400-foot mag as a cheap way to start shooting 400 feet? You know, Bonnie, it is a cheap way to do it. They're very bulky. I mean, I know 400-foot mags are bulky anyway, but those Bell & Howell cameras are heavy. Heavy. You know, if you can, I mean, I don't know, to get into 400 feet, it's hard to beat the CP cameras, CP16 cameras. They're inexpensive for the most part. Probably not going to beat the price of a Bell & Howell 70HR, but boy, if you're entry level into 400 feet mags, I'm going to say, every day I'm going to say CP16. Entry level. I'm not talking about, you know, Airy S's or Airy SRs and 416s and all that. I'm talking about entry level. How about this, kids? Infrared film. High speed infrared film. No anti-halation on this. So you get kind of that glowy look in your highlights. I have a bunch of this that I bought from a guy, and I honestly bought it years ago, and I bought it for the cartridges. These are the 16mm 50-foot magazines. And I bought it for the cartridges, and I shot a couple rolls of it and processed it myself. One roll came out pretty decent, the other roll came out not at all. So I sold a few of them, and I sold a long time ago, and I think they got kind of cooked in the x-ray machines, because one guy said to me, he goes, I know it's not your fault, but man, they didn't come out. So infrared film, I don't know a lot about it. I'm not overly well versed in it, but I do know that there's no remjet, no anti-halation, the base is clear, so the light sort of just bounces all around in it, and it really gives you a glowy effect. There were purposes for it. I think they used it for shooting oscilloscopes, and I mean, it's a high-speed film, so there were reasons behind its original manufacture, but for my purposes, no. Never heard of it. Wait, Nisi, never heard of what? What am I saying? That's Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris. Christian. Where am I at? I'm behind. Bonnie, the 70HR just needs the motor and drive stream. I have 2 of them, and yeah, well, Mike, no one can debate that Bell & Howell, those 70 series cameras, are some of the most precision. I love I have a DR, and I've had a bunch of those in the past. Just amazing cameras, and way cheaper than the H16, and yes, they are cheaper than the CP16. Well, depends. Depends. I've seen some CPs go with a magazine for $500, but kind of get what you pay for sometimes. They're touchy, true. Michael, don't slit regular 8 film. Scan it at 16. I know Cecil's been trying to get me to do that. Scan it at 16 and do the rest in post. It sucks, but less. Yeah, it's a process, and I started messing with it a little more. And I have scanned regular 8 in its 16 millimeter format before and gotten the 2 rows, but it is a pain in the butt in post to flip and to crop and to mask and to do all of that. But I agree, slitting it is kind of a pain. You never get the right result. No accessories. Yes, Rimjet, that is some sci-fi stuff. Here's a fun one. A couple of fun ones. How about some old Ektachrome? You guys remember these old Ektachromes? Ektachrome came in many different shapes and sizes. You guys know that. Super 8. Actually, Super 8, there was this in Super 8 as well. There was a lot of different Super 8 Ektachromes as well. And here's one now. SO105, which I'm not overly familiar with, and I only have 1 or 2 of these, and I've never shot it. That's Super 8. So, no expiration. So these were funny films. Now, these are really old, from the 70s, and they're very difficult to get images from these days. I would not dare try it in hot chemicals, because they were the emulsion pre-hardener you needed to do. I think this even preceded the E4 process, I believe. Funky films, but they were good in their day. They were back when they did the VNF stuff, the video news films, the VNF processing. You can get some images sometimes, black and white images out of this stuff, but I would only buy this stuff if you really wanted to try and get funky results, and you wanted to test, scratch test your cameras, or hone your Lomo tank loading skills. There are reasons to get this, but I don't know. Old Ektachrome. And in Super 8. There were several Ektachromes in Super 8. How about these 2 gems? There's a joke about Soviet Russia where instead of you watching TV, the TV... Oh, okay. Shooting the film. There's a movie in there somewhere. Yeah, I shot many of that on 35 millimeter. Oh my god. FPP introducing 60 millimeter infrared film, ISO 200. This thing's scrolling too fast on me. Have you tried that, Barry? I'd be interested to know how that turned out. Don't you need a special filter to shoot that infrared film? Yes, you're supposed to use one. I didn't, Nicholas. I think you're supposed to, but I never have. And inside these boxes, they do give you a chart, a little paper that gives you that info. This joke's not the same, but yeah. Needs a red filter. That's right. You have to open up the f-stop. Yes, because is it red sensitive film, I believe? The old Ektachrome, Type G? I don't know. Are you talking about this? It's tungsten. So I guess it would be Type A. I think this is what you're talking about, right? Mike? Weird question, but is it just me who have a Palard metronome? I love Palards. I have some 16 millimeter version of that old Ektachrome. That's what this is. This is all 16 millimeter. Or do you mean this? This stuff here, Russell. I tried it with normal E6 and the result was clear with blue gunk on it. Yeah, it's tough. Try an E6. If you do it at full temp with a lot of this older film, it's just going to melt the emulsion right off. VNF sucked. I was a runner back in the late 70s, early 80s. Horrible image. It simply was the only stock that could be processed in-house. Yeah, because it was really quick. Oftentimes they just did it really quick. Now, I did VNF in ECN2, and it came out pretty decent, actually. It was shifted quite a bit, and the colors weren't perfect or great, but I got decent images out of it. FPP had a Type G for gangsta. FPP had a short video on YouTube about it. They're releasing it in 35mm and 16, but it hasn't been released yet. I will be keeping an eye out for that. I am on their email list, Barry, so hopefully I find out. Ektachrome, yes. Yes, Ektachrome. I want to go through these very quick. You guys, there'll be no doubt. This is all 16mm. Good old 1935 this started. Did you know that Kodachrome first came out in 16mm in the 30s? It wasn't any of these, but then in the 60s we got this. You guys remember Kodachrome 2? I'm sure you all shot that. And you remember Kodachrome 25? And then they really sped things up, boosted it all the way up to Kodachrome 40. This is what we all know and love now so much, Iffychrome 40. No surprise there. Kodachrome has been the leader in color film for as long as I can remember. Not so much anymore, but it was for years the only color film, or at least one of the only color films. And these are a little bit in chronological order. I thought this might be kind of fun as far as we're on the color film spectrum. Let's see, right to left. This is my right. That would be your right. Color negative film. I even wrote some rough guesstimates of when. 1983 to 1989. Color negative film. And then we got EXR, which is arguably some of the best color negative stock that it probably has ever been made. And that started in about 1989, right when this ended. And went on for quite a while until it was succeeded by Vision stock, which was then succeeded by Vision 2. Can you guys guess what's last? Succeeded then by Vision 3. There's the color negative, ECN color negative offerings from Kodak. 83 present. 83 to present. 83-ish, I'm pretty sure. I saw this movie called Kodachrome. Yes, I remember that movie. There was this guy in 2010 that was traveling to Kansas to get his coat. Yes, does anybody remember his name? Kodachrome, or Kodachrome. I got Kodachrome on the brain. Oh boy, we're over. We're good. Vision 3, Vision 2, Vision, EXR, color negative. In that reverse order. What fun films. God. I love projecting film. I think it's great. I think that's really how film was meant to be. But I am also in the camp for scanning some of the beautiful Vision stocks. I think they just give off this beauty that it just can't be replicated. How about this? Tri-X. Tri-X. Plus X 7276. Plus X 7276. Kodachrome K40. Ektachrome 160. Type G. Just some fun stocks. There was also some fun stocks that I didn't put up here. Did I? Did I leave them over there? I did. That were interesting. It's essentially all of the X 16mm stocks that basically were, you guys remember Super X, and then Super XX, and then Plus X, and Tri-X, and Double X, and there was a 4X. All all 16mm stocks. You guys remember all those? I have a couple of them over there. You guys know what they are. And I think, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the X was for times. I'm pretty sure. So whatever it started at, which was, I don't know, 50 ISO or ASA back then, anytime they added the new, like Tri-X was 3 times that. Tri-X is 200 speed in the cinema world, and oftentimes it's 400 speed in the still world, whereas Plus X is your slower speed film, and then 4X was 400 ISO, or ASA back then. Oh, Nisi, you settle down. Oh, Mike, you have too many projectors. Quick question, what is the diameter of a 50-foot Lomo tank Sent an email to the seller of the tank. I asked you about yesterday, asking the same question. Okay, Bonnie, the diameter is 9 inches? Pretty sure. About 9-ish inches. I hope I'm saying that right. Maybe it's closer to 10? I hope I'm giving you the right information. I'm not 100% sure, Bonnie, but I'm thinking it's around 9 to 10 inches in diameter. The actual tank, once you get the lid off. Too many film. Yeah. We want plus X. We want plus X. I think Mike may have a film. Jeffrey, you think? Triple X. Settle down, you guys. Penta X. There's a lot of X's in the film world. A lot of them. Not for BW. Oh, Mike. Jeffrey, I thought this was... I have some Super X from 1940 88. Yeah, I love that. I shot some Super X from way back. It may not be quite that old, Rich, but I love this. Is very exciting stuff. We are getting so dad jokey. I'm waiting to shoot most of it until after my UPB 1A tank arrives from the UK. I'd much rather have a big 100-foot Lomo tank, but wasn't about to pay close to $500 for one a year ago. Yeah, they've gotten ridiculously priced. Hey, Lyndon, they have gotten ridiculously expensive. There's no doubt, Mike. It's crazy, crazy. My daughter just got me one from a yard sale. Don't know the brand, but looks 50s regular 8. Let's see, you were talking about film, Barry, right? Hi, Lyndon. I want to know what you got at the garage sale, Barry. I know we're running a little. You know what? I need a little water. I wonder if I can reach that. Hang on, guys. 1 second. I know we're running late. Let me see if I can grab that film really quick. Here they are. Here they are. I had left these over there on the desk as I was sorting through. 4X reversal. 16 millimeter 100-foot loads. We all know this one. This is still available. 7222 double X. 250 speed daylight. 200 tungsten. Plus X 7276. Very slow speed film. Very fine grain. I love Plus X. We need more fine grain. My favorite black and white film ever made. 7231 Plus X. Very tight grain. Beautiful. This is 7278. This is 7278 Tri-X, and it has a process before date of 1966. So those of you that are buying 7278, it is a very old stock, but also can be relatively recent. So it's one of those things. How about this, kids? The RAR film. You guys remember the RAR film? I can't remember what RAR stands for. Rapid Access something. Rapid Access Recording. You guys remember this? I've never shot that. And there is some Kodak Super XX film. Do you remember the Super XX? And this is expired in October of 51. This may be what I shot in my 1920s Bell and Howell Filmo. I can't remember. I know it was really old, but I don't remember how old. Did I ever show you guys this? No, I didn't. Look at these obscurities. SOS. And DuPont. You guys remember DuPont? They're still around making stuff. This is a very fine grain DuPont 930A reversal film, black and white. 64 ISO, or 50. 50 in the daylight? No. Yeah. No. 50 tungsten. 64 ISO. Very, very interesting film. Now, this is a really interesting Supreme X. Check that out. Supreme X. This has a developed by August of '75. Have you guys ever seen this? You have some of that, Mike, some of that DuPont stuff, yeah. This is going to be very interesting. I haven't shot it yet. In fact, I'm not even 100% sure it hasn't already been shot. It's open, but it's ISO 800. So it's extremely high speed, so it's going to be interesting to see if it's not been processed or exposed already. So I'll take a foot off the end of it and try to process it. But this is going to be interesting to find out if what we get out of that 800 speed movie film. Okay, where am I at? Projector, Barry. I'll send you a picture of it. Thank you, Barry. Can we all just agree that if a company just released a film developing tank for Super 8 or 16 for under 200, they would instantly sell out and just go, yes, I think we can all agree that, Bonnie. Especially, I mean, we need a newer tank. The Lomos are fine, but boy, are they ever so brittle. I need to order another one. I have two. I have four, actually. I have 2 100-footers and 2 of the 50s, but the 50s I use all the time. One of them is just it's little pieces are breaking off. Double X is nice and sharp on 16, but the grain is too coarse. Really, I don't remember much about Double X. Double X. Yeah, I don't like their grain. It's a middle grade, a mid-speed film, and you're right, Double X. You're talking about the newer stuff. Yeah, 7222. I don't like that. That is that's their 16mm offering for black and white. No, we need a good slow speed plus X. WinRAR film, wildly odd. Yes, it is. Quick question: is there such a thing as a color grade LUT that inverts and color corrects as a jump off point for after scanning? You know, Russell, that's a good question, and you know, I've honestly looked around and just to get you started, but I cannot find anything. I think so few people are doing film that it's just not one of those things that are being created. So I wish there was, but I haven't found one. From SO Oil, 800 ideal for nighttime. Yes, it is London or Linden rather, and I've read some stuff about this, and that's honestly what they say. There's a little pamphlet inside, and it says what it's for. It's for indoors, low lighting, or outside at night. So that'll be interesting. That's going to be for 100 feet of fun. For all the X's, or did they manufacturers just think it was neat? No, I think the technical thing, Remjet, is X means times. And I think it was, I did some research on it a while back, and I feel like it was whatever it started at, the ISO or ASA, every time there was a new X, it doubled it. So we know 4X is 400 speed film. I know that for sure. And I know Tri-X is a 200 speed film. And I know Plus X is a 50 speed film for the most part. So this is 400 speed. And when I say the speed, that's the daylight speed. So there's 4X. And I know Tri-X is 200 there, which 3X's, and double X is, well, 250 in daylight technically, but this is more modern. It had something to do with multiplying the ISO or multiplying the speeds. I know that. Made in 2001, it would be extra. Hey Manny, just a 25-foot would instantly go from 200. Wait, just a 25-foot instantly go from 200. Are you talking about the tank, Bonnie? Yeah. All right, guys. We are well deep. Appreciate you were busy. Just wondered the scanner you use. Wondered how much for a secondhand scanner as an upgrade from a similar to Wolverine machine bought 3 years ago. Lyndon, there really isn't a lot of room for upgrading from a Wolverine if you want to stay near the price point of a Wolverine. The scanner I use, you can buy them used in the $3,000 to $5,000 US range, and that's a huge jump from the $300 to $400 Wolverine range. There are a lot of DSLR DIY scanners in between. There's some projector scanners in there, but for true, halfway decent frame by frames, unfortunately, it really gets tricky. As for the color grade, maybe we. Why don't we? Get on it, Russell. Yeah, color grading film is tricky, I'll tell you, and I am not good at it. You guys know that I'm not great at that. But I should start showing a little before and after of my scans. All right, guys, so we're an hour and 15 minutes in, and I have to, sadly, I have to close it down. It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, as usual. These are so much fun for me. And I can't thank everybody enough, everybody that pops in. It means a lot to me. If you feel like tapping that like button on the way out, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. I know I say that in all my videos and it's corny, but it does help a lot. Wolverine or Kodak scanners would be so much better if they open the software. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, we need a open source. Thank you, Nicholas and Mike and Radios and Nisi and Barry and Lyndon and Russell and I know, and Bonnie, of course, and Jeffrey always. Manny and God, there's so many of you. Remjet, you guys don't know. Christian, how much I appreciate everybody popping in. It means a lot. This is why I do these. I mean, I have fun, but I don't want to. I could do this in front of a mirror if I want to talk to myself. Thank you, Rich, coming in. I didn't even see Pale Skinny Bones. Thank you. I don't know if you're still here, but thanks for popping in. I don't know where Piper is. Somebody's saying, where's Piper? Uh-oh, I hear feet. Piper's here to say goodbye. Thank you, Rich. Say thank you, everybody.
Here I am.
Here I am. Look. Yes, Piper. Guys, it means the world to me, guys and girls. Mike says bye. Ramiro, thank you. Have a pleasant Sunday over there. See you next week, everybody. Nisi, say bye, Nisi. You never say anybody's name. What are you saying? You want to say Katarina to come say goodbye? She never says goodbye. You say it from there.
She wants to make mac and cheese.
I want food.
I have 2 kids and they're always hungry. All right. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, guys. We will see you guys on next Sunday. And that's a semi-guarantee.